What's going on, everybody? This is going to be a quick video. This is a response video from a YouTube challenge that's going around the internet to everyone who has a vertical splitter. Channels are challenging people as we go. It's kind of like the old ice bucket challenge, I guess. But this was started by Sam Easton over at Sam's Doing Stuff on YouTube. If you haven't checked him out, go watch his stuff. He's got some pretty good content over there. But I personally was challenged by Rachel over at Hardworking Woman, and she has challenged me to attempt this process. I, in turn, am going to challenge my good friend Dick over at Old Guy Firewood down in North Carolina and see if he can get it done. But anyway, what the rules are, you have to take a round that's a maximum of 20 inches in diameter or less and try to split it as many times as you can down to a toothpick size. Now, the caveat to this is that as you split it, when I split this the first time, I have to take the smaller of the two pieces that I'm going to make out of this round. I get rid of the larger piece, and then I'll take the smaller piece, split it again, and do the same thing, continuing to get rid of the biggest piece and only keeping the smallest split. And see how many times we can manage that until we get down to a toothpick size. It's called the toothpick challenge. Now, most people that have been doing this challenge have been getting up to 6 or 7 splits. I think Tony over at TC's Outdoors might have got up to 8. I think that's who did. But if I get to 6, I'm going to consider this a success. So I don't, like I said, I don't really have 20-inch rounds in the yard or 20-inch logs. Most of my stuff's around 16 inches. But I did manage to find this one that's right at 20 inches one way, and it's about 16, a little over 16 inches the other way. So this is the one we're going to use for the challenge, and we'll see if we can get it done. Well, unfortunately, I lost the audio for this part of the video, but I'll kind of narrate it for you here so you can see what's going on. So this is the very first split that we're getting ready to do. We split it in half, and then we have to see which side is smaller. So I'm kind of pointing to what I think is the bigger and smaller pieces. We get rid of the biggest piece, and that is one split. So now you got to start thinking. You got to figure out what your plan is moving ahead. You got to kind of think forward. And this is going to be our second split. And once again, after I get done this split, I will show you which one I believe is the biggest and smallest. It's kind of difficult to tell sometimes because you're trying to split it perfectly in half to give yourself the most wood moving forward. So I gave it my best honest judgment and move forward. So that was 2 splits. So now I'm really thinking here, what is my plan? Because the wood is getting pretty small. So this is the third split. I'll show you which side's bigger and which side is smaller. We get rid of the biggest piece, just like before, and that is 3. I get the splitter staged here. You can see the wedge drops down just a little bit so I can see exactly where it's going to go through. Kind of playing with the pedal there. And once again, we'll get rid of the biggest piece, keep the smallest piece, and that is 4. So right there, I'm checking for knots. I want to make sure I don't see any knots or any grain that's not quite straight, because I want to avoid that. I was thinking in my head, if I find a nasty piece of grain, it's going to mess up my splitting here. So that's where I was looking at. We get rid of the biggest piece there, and we are at 5. One more, and I meet my goal anyway. And here we go. That is 6. I wasn't sure which one was bigger until I flipped it over here, and then you can obviously see that there's a smaller piece. So that's 6. I'm talking to the camera, but the microphone wasn't working, so not really sure what I was saying there. We can make this. We can get to 7, and we were successful. We'll keep the smallest piece. We've got 7 now. So I have, in my mind, I've won. But we go with the 8th one here, and it does not make a clean split. It breaks off just about 2/3 of the way down. It broke off, so that split does not count. We got 7. Well, sorry about that. The audio got screwed up a little bit there, but hopefully you were able to hear and see what I was doing. But we made it to 7, so I beat my own personal goal at least. So Dick at Old Guy Firewood, you're up, you're on deck. It's your turn to do this. I don't normally participate in these challenges that go around, but this one was pretty cool. I thought it was a pretty good idea to see how well your brain can work and think and run these vertical splitters. So yeah, leave a comment below. Let me know how you think I did. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. for our weekly video. Take care, everybody.